Hi, welcome back to my channel, Gaza90 Child. My name is Latoya. So as usual, big up to all my new followers and subscribers. You're welcome. So, today's topic is I'm going to read in the book of 1 Samuel 28, and I'm going to read from verse 3 and verse 28. And this is about, spiritual things because, speaking to the dead, seeing the dead. As a child, I always see spirit, people that pass, and, they would communicate to me, and I could pass on message and tell people that, this person that died, I saw them and they said this. So I couldn't understand when the Bible say you cannot contact the dead, and if you do, then it's familiar spirit. It's not actually the person that died. But reading along, I realized that the Bible, it does not contradict itself, but there's page, to me, my assumption is missing, and there's things that just cannot be explained. So that's just how I perceive it. So anyway, I'm going to read in the NIV, and I'm going to start from verse 3. And it said, "Now Samuel was dead, and all Israel have mourned for him and buried him in his own town of Ramah. Saul had expelled the medium spiritists from the land. The Philistine assembled and came, set up a camp in Shalom, where Saul gathered all Israel and set up a camp in Gibor. When Saul saw the Philistine army, he was afraid, terror filled his heart. He inquired of the Lord, but the Lord did not answer him by dream or unum or prophet. Saul then said to his attendants, 'Find me a woman who is a medium, so I may go and inquire of her.' 'There is one in Endor,' they said. So Saul disguised himself, putting on other clothes, and at night he and 2 men went to the woman. 'Consult a spirit for me,' he said, 'and bring up for me the one I named.' But the woman said to him, 'Surely you know that Saul has done what Saul has done. He has cut off the medium and spiritist from the land. Why have you set a trap for my life to bring about my death?' Saul swore to her by the Lord, 'As surely as the Lord liveth, you will not be punished for this.' Then the woman asked, 'Whom shall I bring up for you?' 'Bring up Samuel,' he said. When the woman saw Samuel, he cried out at the top of her voice and said to Saul, 'Why have you deceived me? You are Saul.' The king said to her, 'Don't be afraid. What do you see?' The woman said, 'I see a ghostly figure coming up out of the earth.' 'What does he look like?' he asked. 'An old man wearing a robe is coming up,' he said. Then Saul knew it was Samuel, and he bowed down and prostrated himself with his face to the ground. Samuel said to Saul, 'Why have you disturbed me by bringing me up?' 'I am in great distress,' Saul said. 'The Philistines are fighting against me, and God has departed from me. He no longer answers me, neither by prophet nor dream, so I have called on you to tell me what to do.' Samuel said, 'Why do you consult me? Now that the Lord have departed from you and become your enemy, the Lord have done what he predicted through me. The Lord has torn the kingdom out of your hand and given it to one of your neighbor, to David. Because you did not obey the Lord or carry out his fierce wrath against Amalekite, the Lord has done this to you today.' So from the context, you can see he literally expelled all the voodoo people, necromancy, witches and wizard from the land. But in the end, when he realized that God is not with him and he needed answer, he literally consult the medium, those evil necromancy people. And what I realized is he changed his clothes because he write that law, and the disguise of going in the night. So you know that these darkness and these evil things always operate in the night. It wasn't in broad daylight, literally night. So he sworn that he wouldn't harm this lady that is practicing whatever. But you could see the lady herself was surprised that even Samuel himself come up, because that woman, I think, as we know that witches and wizards, they meant to manipulate you because they don't work with divine spirit from God, but God can work through them because he's the ultimate, and his power is strong. So whatever unique miracle God performed, because it's in the end it's God performing, because he's terrored and God is not talking to him, so he literally have to go through a different route just to get answers, and which is the same answer where which God depart from him, because at the end of the day he disobeyed. And I look and I said, most people said you cannot contact the dead, you cannot do this, but there's people. That's why the Bible will always say that the wicked is wiser than the saints, because we just, like, with our own mind we limit God with our own ability, and we get this Bible that is watered down for over decades, and we just read through it with lack of understanding. And the Lord said to come to me with wisdom and this. So when I say to someone, listen, I see spirit, I actually see spirit. And fair enough, we know that the enemy and the fallen angels, they're shapeshifts, that they can come in the form of me, whether you understand, like, you see the manipulation of the enemy, what he can do. So yes, we know that, but it said it was Samuel. The Bible didn't say it was a manipulating spirit or a spirit acting like Samuel. It said it was actually Samuel. Now you know that you cannot contact the dead. So even in certain books I read where when Moses, it was Moses, something with Moses, but I don't want to go in too deep, but it was like they wanted to contact what's his name, they wanted to contact Enoch that God has taken, and at the end of the day when they did it, they said he was at the end of the earth. That's where it is, and you could see where his son went to the ends of the earth to go and speak with him. Yes, I know he didn't die, just like Elijah and Enoch, they didn't die. So even though they mentioned that there will be the two witnesses coming back down, or it would be Moses or and Elijah. So there's a lot of people assuming and predicting that this is what's gonna happen because they didn't taste death. So at the end of the day, we know as well in the Bible that Lazarus died and he came back, and there's no written up that, oh yeah, when I die I literally fell asleep and everything was out of black and I didn't see anything. It didn't say that you went to heaven or hell. The Bible didn't like all of that, because come on, if you die, obviously you would have some kind of knowledge to say, I crossed over, I went to hell, I went to the judgment throne, because he said after death that's when you will be judged. You understand? Whether for righteousness or for you're going down to the hellfire. So at the end of the day, it didn't say that. All of that story is just left out, and I don't think that they want us to learn the knowledge and the truth, because basically if we learn the knowledge and the truth, then obviously more people will be serving God, and we having the answer and not be puzzled like this, more people will be finding righteousness and holiness and come out of sin. So I think that that's why you see they rip whoever rip the pages from the Bible and just leave certain things, because I know I saw people with my eyes going on grave, giving stuff to the grave, and giving fruits, giving rice, and they will say, oh, I am giving this to my grandma, and then when you go back tomorrow everything is gone from the grave. And we would assume, and I would ask people older than me, who take the food, where is it gone? And they will say, oh, somebody greedy come and just take it, like it's one mortal person take, it's not a spirit. But I could say, no, those rice grain, I don't think somebody will go to a graveyard and pick up each and every rice grain. So that, as a child, I was still puzzled, and I know that spiritual things is real. I have my encounter, I see things, I hear things. There's spirit that is trapped, and there's spirit that didn't cross over for judgment. There's a lot going on, and at the end of the day, you can hear voices of spirit, you can see them, and sometimes they latch onto you, and you understand, and sometimes you open door for them to come in as a vessel. But like the Bible said, when you're dead, appointed, yes, dead in sin, then obviously you're going to get judged. So whether somebody conjure you up, whether it's extraterrestrial way they do it, whatever form they do it, once you die in your sin, yes, you will be judged. So if the Bible said that you cannot do anything, somehow he gave him the answer, the same answer that he already predict back then, to say, listen, the Lord said you're going to do this if you disobey. It was the same thing. He said it was nothing new. So at the end of the day, he told him if he didn't know it was David, then he knows that the throne was going over to David. So that was something that he heard from Samuel, and he said, why did you come and trouble me? So you have to understand that the Bible is a mystery, and it has a lot of things in it that we will never perceive with our own human understanding, and we need the understanding from God. So if you're seeing spirit and talking to spirit, then at the end of the day, know that you're not crazy.